right, another show.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay, so let's go over what happened next week.
Yeah, what happened next week? All right,
We like to stay current.
ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Andy Show. We are here. You may recognize, well, for those listening, you won't necessarily recognize that we have filmed this on a different date. But for those watching, obviously we're wearing the same clothes as the previous week. And so because of that, we have to address that fact right off the top. Juliet and I are currently in Cincinnati, visiting my family, attending a Bengals game, and most importantly, we are visiting the Sunrise Sanctuary in northern Ohio, like Columbus area. I guess that's middle Ohio, but northern middle. And getting to spend some time with some rescue animals, and that's a big, very important thing to us. So I will be able to report back on that experience when it has happened. Obviously, it's currently happening. Right now, as we're speaking, I suppose my father-in-law is holding down the fort house-sitting my house right now. So what about you guys? What happened in the week that isn't the week that hasn't happened yet?
I bought some more. I needed to get some soap for the bathroom.
You will need to get soap next week, not this week. As
No,
we're currently
right
talking.
now it's okay.
Okay.
There's enough. I haven't had to put
Right
water.
now, or are you? Where are we right now?
That's a good question.
Are
It's
you
hard
telling
to
this
know,
from next
yeah.
week? Are you telling this from this
I'm
week?
anticipating.
We aren't good at bank
Let's just-
episodes. We're not
for,
sure.
For an exercise, let's just put ourselves into next week,
Okay.
and let's just describe the week that we have.
Yeah.
Well, so the way it started was I said to Juliet, I woke up one morning and I said, I feel like my whole life I have wanted to open up my own small business. And specifically, I wanted to open up a small business that is called Where Ice Cream Comes From. And
Nobody knows,
It's been
actually.
It's been a lifelong journey to get to the point where someone would allow for me to open up a restaurant that exclusively serves raw salt, sugar, butter, and ice, and other accoutrement, but in the raw form. And then the goal is when you eat all these things concurrently, it will elicit the response in you that you're enjoying some ice cream. So I went to the bank and I said, hey, hello, bank.
I'm here to make you some money.
I would like to
Bank.
make essentially a pre-ice cream store, and they laughed at me, and I said, I'll show you. And so I sank every cent that I've ever made into this thing, and we've just
Wow.
opened it this week, and we'll see how it
Congratulations.
goes. Yeah.
And you opened it in Cincinnati because that's where you are right now, right?
Yes, I
where you've
opened
been
it.
all week.
I built it in Cincinnati, on top of a snowbank, and it's. I don't know if it's going to be snowing there yet in September.
Okay.
But I had one flown in,
Getting a head start.
Yeah, and there's a tremendous amount of snow in the snowbank, like 30 feet of snow, and I have built this ingredients restaurant on top of it. And we're just going to see how it goes, So that's my week, was opening up my dream.
What kind of interest does the snowbank offer?
Well, we need to get the ice for the ice cream. So we, rather than having to waste our time by buying expensive freezers, we figure we'll just keep shipping in large amounts of ice. We go outside, you dip your cup in, you come back in, we sprinkle it with a little salt, sugar, and milk, and you're off to the races.
So it sounds like the snowbank has a good rate of return.
Yes. Now, obviously, everything I just said was a lie.
We don't know.
Whoa,
is
what are
not
you talking
happening.
about?
But I
we
do
don't know. It's totally plausible.
But I do want to point out,
Fingers
that,
crossed, really.
as a kid, I was a big fan of the snow cone, which is not dissimilar to what I'm describing in my ridiculous fake version of
the
of
ice in a paper cup and they just put the juice
Yes,
on it.
and my favorite flavor was called tiger's blood, and I have now. It was maybe like 2 or 3 months
it's a
ago.
favorite of everybody on it having a meltdown.
Yeah, so tiger's blood is, I believe, cherry and pineapple mixed together. Now, why it's called tiger's blood is
An
unclear.
aggressive name.
Because it's for kids.
Yeah. So Juliet and I, a couple months ago, we were out, and it was on when we were on that brief run on Warped Tour, and it was a day off, and we were walking around this little town in Utah, and we happened across a little mom and pop snow cone stand, and I went up and I said, "Do you have tiger's blood?" And they said, what? And I said, tiger's blood. Do you have any back there?
Don't be coy.
Yes.
And the teenage girl, I would assume she was a teenage girl working there, looked very concerned. And I said, is there anyone else working here?
Didn't clarify what tiger's blood was.
I wasn't being mad.
No, I know.
I said, is there anyone else working here? Because maybe she was too young to understand the tiger's blood. And so
Her only frame of
I could
reference would have to
I
be
could see
the-
that an
the
older
worst
lady,
one.
maybe her mother was behind her, and I was trying to reference that, but I didn't want to be rude and say, "Can you have your mom come over?" So I said, I was being coy. I said, "Does anyone else work?"
Let me see if your mom's got any.
And I said, "Hello, do you have any tiger's blood?" And she said, "What?" And then I said, "Never mind." And then Juliet ordered, and while I festered, I got more angry that I wasn't. It seemed like it was such an obvious flavor, and I went back up and I said, "Look, I know that you can make tiger's blood with what you have." And she said, "I'm not sure. I don't know what that is." And I said, "Well, it's cherry and pineapple." But for a while there, they were very concerned about what I was trying to ask for.
The lack of clarification as to what tiger's blood is.
Yeah.
Left them.
It
And
might
me
have just
saying,
been
"I know you can make tiger's blood" back then.
I know you
Might
got
have
it
been a
back
very
there.
localized nickname for that combination where you grew up, and it's not actually called that everywhere else.
Well, I think we should Google this. Should we pull it up on the Google machine and see if I was wrong
I got a
about
feeling
I think so.
whoever's making the snow cones when you were growing up is probably pretty high,
this? Okay.
and they might have just started calling it that, and you picked
Tiger's
up on it.
blood snow flavor. There we go. You can buy it online. Look at that.
Look at that.
What is tiger's blood snow cone? Tiger's blood snow cone syrup has a lot going for it. First,
Really?
it has the
You can
coolest
even
name.
say it's winning.
Yeah, it has the coolest name of all snow cone flavors. Second, the color is a bright red that snow cone customers tend to get a little silly over. This Hawaiian shaved ice syrup combines strawberry and watermelon. Nope, no.
They got it wrong.
And watermelon, and adds a hint of coconut.
There's already infighting in the
By the way,
Tiger's Blood
this
snow
is
cone
this is
world.
on a website called 1-800-SHAVEDICE.com, where you can buy ridiculously sized gallons of tiger's blood, and it just says tiger's blood on the front. Now, this is an imposing purchase.
Yeah, that's,
For those of you who are listening,
Yeah,
it
it's
is
just a
large
big gallon
bottle
of blood
that says tiger's blood.
$7.95 for that big ass
it's an
thing.
industrial size.
All right, here we go. I'm going to give you the full.
Wait. $7.95 for that?
Yes,
You could probably make 2,000 snow
I
cones
believe.
out
As
of
it
that.
turns out, I think the snow cone industry might be pulling the wool over our
I
eyes
think
on.
the profit margins of a snow cone business are insane at this point.
Okay, here we go.
That's the math.
Tiger's blood snow cone syrup has a lot going for it. I read all that. All right. People get a little silly over it. Third, it is one of the most scrumptious flavors you will ever taste. When your customers ask, what does tiger's blood syrup taste like? You can put their mind at ease that no big cats were harmed in the making of this mouth-watering
What?
blend.
That takes all the fun out of it.
This Hawaiian shaved ice syrup is, then they gave the wrong flavor. It is absolutely
They don't even know what they got.
divine. When you taste it for yourself, you will understand why it is our top 5 most popular flavor. You can buy Tiger's Blood Premium Shaved Ice Syrup individually, but for the best price, you should get a multi-pack, stock up,
Definitely buy more than you need.
and get one of the true favorites of all of
You
your
don't want to
customers.
start running low. You'll get anxiety. What bothers you more? The people that didn't know what the hell you were talking about, or these people not having the flavors correct?
The fact that this is so clearly... but there's some stuff I don't know about. Silver Fox? What the hell's a Silver Fox?
Oh, that's a retiree gentleman.
No,
who's
I
on
know.
the
I'm
prowl.
saying flavor. Okay, Silver Fox is a creamy almond vanilla snow cone. I've never gone for the like kind of dairy based blends. It's always been a fruit situation with the snow cone. There's a lot of different flavors here that we Blue Hawaiian, Bahama Mama. Here we go.
Good alliteration on that one.
The most popular shaved ice flavors. Banana is number 1.
Ugh.
What?
Ugh.
Blue raspberry, understandable.
You're a
Cherry,
banana guy, aren't you?
understandable. Grape, lemon lime, pina coladas, root beer, strawberry, tiger's blood, and watermelon.
Wow.
I like banana stuff.
So you understand
you
my
do.
frustration now when we have the world agrees it's in the top 5 or 10 flavors.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like a creep because I'm in this small town in Utah
You need to
yelling
keep
at this person, you got tiger's
You gotta
blood back
keep a
there.
printout of that on you. Keep a
Yeah,
printout.
I will.
Say you order it once, and when they're confused, you just slide it over.
Yeah, no words.
Don't you know people go, was it funny or silly over tiger's blood?
Yeah. Hashtag, you got tiger's blood back there? I know you can make it. Well, anyway, so that's a combination of my dream / a real thing that happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like it's been a crazy week for you.
Well, part of it,
Big
yeah,
week.
part of it has.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of action out there in the Midwest.
What are you talking about? Who are you staying at? I mean, the big action that we got going on is we're going to the Bengals game, which
Yeah.
we don't know if they've won or lost. By this point, we will know if they've won their first game
They're
of the season.
3-0, right?
Well, they're 3-1 in the preseason. They lost
3-1.
one preseason
Ooh.
game. The preseason is over now.
Okay.
So the next time that we will be seeing a game,
be for reals.
It'll be for realsies. But at the time we're recording this, it's a little confusing because there will be one more episode after this.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we still won't know
Uh-oh.
because we'll probably be recording it beforehand. So there will be weeks that go by where we are not able to tell anyone
No.
what we know of the Bengals
None of this
schedule.
is clear to me right now. I don't know where we are. I don't know when we are.
Yeah. All right. So we will be filming next Sunday.
This is what they call the lost episode.
Yes, we will be filming next Sunday, and that is when we will be seeing the first Bengals game of the season at the same time. Correct?
Well, is that next Sunday from right now or next Sunday from after the next Sunday after we release this episode?
All right, cut the shit.
All right.
What day is it today?
Today is Friday.
Today is Friday.
Today is Friday.
Is that today's Friday? Wink, wink. Or
No.
today-
No.
is it
I don't.
actually
I have
Monday?
absolutely
Actually
no
Friday.
idea. This will be coming out Saturday.
All right, I need to get the calendar.
Okay, let's pull up here.
Today's the 31st.
Okay.
One of the last days of August, I'm told.
This
One of.
yeah, okay. This episode that you are currently listening to should have been released on Sunday the 16th of
September.
So
October?
today's
Of
episode.
September.
This episode ought to come out.
This episode is brought to you by
This episode is
Sunday-
ought to you by.
when I was a kid,
Sunday the 16th.
I didn't understand that it was brought to you by. I
Oh.
thought it was brought to you by. Brocked.
Brocked.
Yeah. I thought that was a phrase that meant something.
Sure.
So, like,
Yeah.
this is brocked to you by whatever. And I still hear that because I'm dumb. I also don't understand that the Disney logo is a D. I just thought it was a shape of some kind.
Oh, you didn't put it together.
Yeah, never put it together. Still can't see it. It doesn't make any sense.
Do you remember that moment that you realized it wasn't Brocked?
I was probably like 23 or something.
Was that just like a quiet little revelation you had to yourself?
Yeah. I don't recall. But I mean, I still hear it as brocked to you by, which is fine.
I had a quiet little revelation last week.
Sure.
I noticed that you have this great outlet that also has USB ports.
Indeed.
And I thought to myself, I would also like to have one.
Yeah.
And so I bought one. And now I
Okay.
have it.
Great.
Yeah. So thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I didn't bring it up until now.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that. And I'm sure the listeners appreciate us describing an object in the room that we're in
Yeah.
right now.
How did you keep that under your hat for so long, Joe?
Well, yeah, it's been, 3 weeks now since
It's
that happened.
it's been 1 week since you looked at that.
But since we're in the future, I
Okay.
thought I would say it's been several
But I'm
weeks.
saying it's been 1 week since you looked at that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
3
you got
weeks ago from today when this is airing,
Yes.
whence he saw it first.
So we are in Cincinnati, which it's actually interesting because I've talked about this before, but I love where I'm from. I love my hometown for the reasons of my family being there and everything. I didn't, like anybody, I didn't have exclusively great situations. In fact, when I was a teenager, it was probably worse than it was good in terms of my love of where I was from. I wanted to get out and get out of this town. As I've gotten older and I've been able to spend more time away, I have a greater appreciation for where I'm from. But one part that's really interesting is Juliet loves being in Cincinnati, loves visiting. I think it's because it's so... She was born in California, grew up predominantly in Florida, moved back to California. The Midwest is such a different animal to her that I think that she really likes kind of the quaint part of it and it being so quiet and you feel like you're kind of away from things.
Just slower.
Yeah.
Everything's cleaner.
Yeah.
It's quieter. People are there's less agendas going on.
But now Cincinnati has really come up. The city there's so much going on, and the downtown area with over the Rhine being such a big deal, and there's all these restaurants and the banks and all this other stuff. So it's been fun to go back. But I think at the thing she appreciates the most, or at least what she tells me, is that the quietness. Because it is true. When I'm at my parents' house, you can stand on the porch or on the deck in the back or whatever, and it's just quiet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's when I like to pull up my...
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And see if someone on the other side of the neighborhood will
Pops
respond.
up out of the window.
Yeah.
You just walk out to the stoop.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I look forward to that, or I guess I'm experiencing that right now.
You are. Yeah,
again, the timeline is very confusing.
I talked with Grant yesterday.
Okay.
Or rather, several weeks ago.
Okay. Yeah.
And like clockwork. It's like I realized yesterday I realized I just feel like I'm on a talk show.
Okay.
When I'm talking with Grant.
Right, because there's a wrap it up.
Yeah, because like at 9 minutes and 48 seconds, she's like, "Well, great talking to you."
Okay.
And then at 10 minutes, hung up on the
Well,
dot.
I told you. I mean, it was like it was news for us when I spoke to Gran for about 25 minutes
Right.
one day, and I couldn't believe it. Our grandmother is a very nice and sweet woman, incredibly awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But on the phone, she's not rude or anything.
No.
She just has a certain amount of time that
She
she's
knows how
interested
long
in
the
being
phone
on the
call's
phone.
supposed
Yeah.
to be.
Yeah.
And it's usually anywhere between 9 to 12 minutes. And that's
She
that's
sounds
it.
like a classy lady.
It's
She
great.
is.
She knows when to wrap it up.
Yeah.
You can call her real quick.
Does she keep up with all kinds of people that you couldn't imagine keeping up with? Like, for example, Candace's mom is able to keep in touch with people all over the planet that,
Sure.
like, they met 38 years ago and had a mutual acquaintance, but, like, she'll call them every 3 or 4 months just to see how they're doing.
Possibly, I don't know. The one thing that has been big in her life in the last couple of years is that she's incredibly intelligent. She was a chemist, and her mind is still. I mean, there's no sign of slowing down.
So phone call has a slot in her
Yeah,
daily
she's
schedule, like-
very highly intellectual and interested in figuring things out. So we kind of, as a family, my mom and aunts and everybody, they got her an iPad and said, kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
And within a week, she knew I mean, this is going from never having sat at a computer to using an iPad to watch Cincinnati Reds games and, figuring out iTunes and everything else. So that's been her current thing is whenever we're over there, she's got her little iPad that she loves.
Yeah, she likes to turbo boost the learning curve of all the new technology.
Yeah.
yeah. Quite impressive.
Yeah. So I will be visiting her.
Yeah.
That plays into this whole thing.
Exactly. You are right now.
Very nice.
I got a microscope camera. It's
Really?
it looks like a big pen, and it's got a hole on the bottom of it and an LED ring, and you can like put it on things, and it'll show you 1,000 times magnification, and it shoots
Wow.
HD video.
Wow.
Damn.
And it was like dirt cheap.
Well, I
She might be.
we
1,000
I know
times?
she's not on the clock anymore, but she might be interested in
perhaps we
something like
should
that.
get her
Maybe that would be a
whatever
present.
the hell that is.
Yeah.
I can send you a link.
Let's provide no
It'd
context.
be an interesting present for
Yeah.
someone who likes the science.
Yeah. Well, I will say whenever I go back home, I tend to want to run into people and never do. It's been a dream of mine for the entirety of my adult life since I've had any form of success to go back home and to be the triumphant guy who's from this small, town outside of the city, and I'm going to see everybody that was mean to me in high school, and I'm going to be the shit and whatever. And that has never happened. And I've also given up on that's as my life has grown. I don't really have that level of revenge or vengeance like I did when I was younger.
You just like to show up and steal the mail a few times.
Yeah, no. So, but when I was younger, I thought that was going to be the thing, and now it's not really a concern. And now that it's not a concern at all, and I see people all the time. Now that and the thing is, like, I stayed. The context sucks, but the situation's kind of funny that. Our grandmother was going through a bout with cancer, and I took a lot of time and basically just lived with her for about a month and a half. Just stayed there, and I wasn't necessarily paying attention to how I looked or what I wore. I was mostly wearing, because I didn't really bring a lot of clothes. At some point, I was wearing our grandfather's old clothes, just because I'm doing stuff around the house for her, going grocery shopping. And so I'm walking around the neighborhood that I used to live in like my grandfather's old clothes. And I am carrying grocery bags, and I clearly live in the house that my grandmother lives in. And that's when I saw all my old high school assholes. They drive by and they're like, "There's Andy." Turns out, he's just a guy
wearing old man
clothes.
Life.
Yeah, lives in his grandmother's house wearing old man clothes.
That's like a weird Twilight Zone thing where you like flash to the future.
Yeah,
and you're like, all of a sudden you're in some.
Yeah, but the thing is, I realized then that
you might choose at some point in your life to just go live there.
See, that's the thing, is that by the time that happened,
while.
that was entirely unimportant to me.
Yeah.
It was no longer important to me to show that I was some successful rock guy. Now, I would prefer to just go there and wear Grandpa's clothes,
chill out.
and chill. Yeah,
that's good. That's a hurdle that you got to get over.
Yeah. But I will say it was at the time, it was a little bit of like, God damn it.
Today.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I'm way cooler than this.
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing you can say.
And I didn't steal your fucking mail.
Yeah. Well, so, I think we'll probably this week, because I'm in Cincinnati, we were unable to get an episode together, but I hope that you were at least mildly entertained by our nonsense.
I was thinking we could do a movie review.
Let's do a movie review.
Yeah.
What is coming out the week of September 16th?
Let us see.
For those of you who don't know, we have long done.
Long done.
We've
done.
That's
Joe's nickname when he plays dodgeball.
Yeah.
Long
done. Long dong Flanders. We have a long tradition of doing honest movie reviews of films that we haven't seen, but we know a lot about, because we are able to put together what we think about movies based on the context of their name and what we know about them. So we're going to give you our honest movie review of a film that is coming out the week that you are listening to this show. Hopefully you find it informative, you enjoy it, and it helps you make your decision on what to go see at the cinema, as they may say.
So this week, the week of September 14th, The Predator is coming out.
Yes.
And I, for one, have been clamoring for them to make a fourth remake of Predator.
Well,
unfortunately, they haven't done it yet.
They got Chris Hansen for this one, too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
the poker player?
No, he catches predators.
Is he Jim Henson's brother? Jim Henson.
Yes. Chris Hansen, funny enough, is Jim Henson's brother.
He's also the predator hunter, and then, he's a poker player as well.
Yes.
So I know that everybody knows about this movie being the return of Carl Weathers.
Yes.
Carl Weathers is, in fact, spoiler alert, he plays the Predator.
Yes.
And we also find out that the Predator's dreadlocks are where all of his power comes from. Mm-hmm. And so you see Carl Weathers go to the barber against his will.
Oh, yes.
And he's saying, no, don't cut these. And the
Turn
barber
him into a
says,
beaver tail.
yeah, the barber says, I have to do it. It's what the government's saying to do. And Carl Weathers is begging, don't do this.
It's not my fault. It's the government.
The government's saying to do this.
Demanding it.
And he cuts off one dread, and then the entirety of the right side of the Predator just goes limp, and then the barber gets killed midway through the haircut. So this is like 1 minute into the movie.
Oh, yeah.
For the entirety of the film, the Predator has like a half his body doesn't work, almost like he's just suffered a stroke.
Yes.
And so he's just dragging one side of his body all along.
Well, and it was interesting that it was the upper left part of his body, but the lower right.
Yeah, so it's the left half of his face and his right leg are just dragging, and people can easily outrun him.
Yeah,
and you know that it's Carl Weathers, and people keep taking the mask off, and they say, "We know it's you, Carl Weathers. Stop it!" And he's saying, "No, I'm the Predator."
Effect a lot.
Yeah,
he just walks up to a tree and turns into a tree. Waits it out and watches them walk by.
But he doesn't have any of the stuff anymore. He doesn't know how to do the heat-seeking stuff. So it's very clearly standing there in front of people. And
really
it's more sad.
Down the action.
It's tremendously just it's just kind of a slow burn of conversation.
Yeah,
because Carl Weathers can't really do anything because he's dragging himself around.
But it needed
everywhere.
to be made.
Yeah, I feel like
it's a redemption story
to learn about how deep down the Predator is mad because he just wanted to go to this one particular preschool that he couldn't get let into, and that was what like basically turned him into
Not
this
to like
angry
do
guy.
anything bad either. He just
No.
wanted to go.
He just wanted to fit in.
No, he wanted to
Blend.
attend.
Yeah.
And they said, no, you're a predator. You can't do it. And he said, oh, shit, I guess I'll go on for the next 30 years, terrorizing people in the
Yes.
jungle.
Yes.
And that's, I mean, to find that out, you sympathize with him and you think, this poor guy, I wish that he had a friend. And that's when we know who enters at that
Who
point.
plays the tree person?
Yep.
But Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci comes in, and the movie
He's-
changes its tone completely.
It's
Suddenly,
the
he's
most
got a friend.
stuck in the mud he's ever been because he's a tree.
He's a tree who's literally stuck in the dirt. But boy, the quips and the things he says,
Yes.
it really elevates the mood. And suddenly, he is the one who helps Carl Weathers retain use of his leg.
He teaches
Because
him how to
he's-
play the ukulele.
Yeah,
Right. He says the root of the problem,
Yeah.
Predator,
yeah.
is
Yeah.
that you don't play any musical instruments.
Yeah.
And you don't believe in yourself. And you
And
need to believe in yourself. And here, come here, let me give you a kiss. And he kisses him with his little tree mouth on the forehead. And the dreads, they grow right back. And the whole thing is just, it's beautiful. It's touching. What's weird is that they did it, that whole section was animated by the guy who did Frozen.
Right.
Entirely. Yeah. The
Yeah.
team that did the Frozen animation did the animation for the Joe Pesci as a tree hugging and kissing the Predator, which is just Carl Weathers, who has a limp leg.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cute song that they play together too.
Right, yeah. And they say, everybody knows that you can't go outside if you don't wear socks and shoes on top of the socks. And then when you wear your pants, but you gotta make sure that they're not that wet. And everybody's dancing.
And it's got like a Hawaiian sound to it.
Yeah,
Like
Yeah, with the ukulele.
With the uke.
Yeah.
it does. Well, you know what? I'm ready to give my review. For me, I'm going to give it 12 out of 5 stews.
I will give it 6 out of 3 dreads.
Okay.
2 butts up.
2 butts up, so that's 12 stews, 3 dreads, and 2 butts up. Go see Predator in theaters now.
Well, that's the show for this
That was
week.
it. That was it. That was my my way of
Signing off.
Signing off. It's silently, and then you really saved it.
Yeah.
That's the show for this week. We hope you enjoyed it. We will be back next week with a real show. That isn't confusing and meandering. Hope you enjoyed it. Please give us a rating and a review on iTunes. You can listen to this on all of the major podcast formats. And please make sure you check out our Patreon. You can sign up there and watch the show every week. That is it for us. We will see you, hear you, love you, kiss you like Joe Pesci as a tree on top of the head. Bye-bye.
If listening to this was not enough for you and you just want to see everything that's happening,
There's so much going on.
There's so much happening.
Yeah.
Then you should sign up on Patreon so that you can watch every episode as well. And not only that, you also get the chance to interact with us in a variety of ways that we will be talking about in the near future.
See it with your ears, hear it with your eyes.
Absolutely. Just go to theandyshow.tv
Bye-bye.
and sign up.
Bye.
I've been doing.
We don't like
tricks
doing
this whole
promotions
time.
on this show. so-
It's icky. So, if everybody feels bad about doing commercials, but sometimes you got to do it. So please, if you're interested, check out our Patreon and continue, please, to rate and review the podcast. It's available on all podcast platform format thingies. And that's about it for this week. Bye.